What am I supposed to?
And good afternoon, and welcome to the Austrian GP for the Tier 2 grid. Sorry, Tier 3 grid. My bad. I'm so stuck on the Tier 2 race from yesterday that I've not yet moved on or digested the fact of what happened in that tier. But yeah, Tier 3 grid, and it will be a fun race for sure. And we will be looking forward to it. In the com box with me, I have my OP streamer, OG streamer, Propi. Hi, Propi.
Hello.
And co-commentating with me will be Helium. Hi, Helium.
Hello.
And I am harryrox. So we shall quickly go on to a track video and then a hot lap of this track. 10 turns, sector 3 being pretty harsh on the downforce, and sector 1 pretty much all the straights. There's a lot of elevation changes and 3 DRS zones. A lot of overtaking spots, especially turn 3. We'll quickly go on.
Alright then, a lap of the Styrian Grand Prix circuit, the Red Bull Ring, heading down to turn 1. You're braking just before the 100-meter marker, turning in, holding fourth gear. Important all throughout the circuit to carry as much momentum as possible. Heading now down through turn 2. It's just a long sweeping corner up to turn 3, uphill braking points, so you can brake quite late without locking up the wheels. Turn in, all about getting the traction down here, so you'll see drivers short shifting up through the gears through 6th, 7th, all the way up to 8th gear before we come to the downhill braking zone of turn 4. The track drops away, so it's very important to manage your brake pressure here, because too much and you may lock up. Use all the track limit on the outside, but don't push the driver off. Turn 5, turn in at the 50-meter marker, hug the inside apex, use as much of the outside as you possibly can. Turn 6, same strategy. Don't use too much of the exit curb here, as you may invalidate your lap through turn 7 as well. Now coming down to the final couple of corners, throw it into the fast right. Important to use as much track as possible here. Same for the final corner. You can run a little bit wide on exit, and that is a lap of the Red Bull Ring.
Well, that was a hot lap definitely from our fellow T1 driver Moto Moto. Pretty fast around. I think it was a 103.5 or 103.8, if I'm not wrong. Close to the track limits all around, and yeah, that's how your lap should be in Austria, because it's such a short lap, and it is pretty fast considering the fact that the number of turns in sector 1, for example, is just literally 2 turns and one pseudo turn in the middle of the straight leading up to turn 3. Well, so Helium, what do you think strategies are around here? We've spoken about it already yesterday, our other commentators, but what do you think is the strategy around here?
I believe that a one-stop strategy is the way to go, honestly. But safety cars can move everything around, obviously. I would prefer going on the softs and then going on the mediums. That's probably what I think it is. But let's find out.
Well, sure, and Ropi, we are into the session now. We have a few. Oh, it's a rainy qualifying session. Looks like heavy rain qualifying session, and the race starts on dry conditions, cloudy conditions, and moves on to rain throughout through the session. So it's a variable condition race and a full wet quali. That's that's a lot of that's a lot of rain, I must say, and that's a pretty exciting start to the season for these tier 3 boys. And we'll be testing their limits on track, the way they're able to put traction down and all of that. But nonetheless, well, we're already on board with the driver who's doing a hot out lap. I'm presuming it's one of the Ferrari drivers, probably ripe, with the way I know how he drives. It looks like it's his input device. Propi, just to mention to you, the stream we have in the com box is pretty pixelated.
Okay,
Uh,
just a
the
sec.
YouTube stream's good to go.
Okay, we'll have a look at that.
Well, thank you. So in the meantime, as you were saying, that was now the strategy you were talking about. Helium seems to have gone out of the window now. The
Yeah,
race is
completely.
yeah, it's a dry to wet session. So I
Yeah,
obviously they
that's
don't
my
have anything
idea.
to worry about in terms of tire wear, so they can just put on a set of softs at the race start and pray that it stays as long as possible in terms of the rain coming out. It comes early within the first 10 laps so that they can push every lap in the dry. Well, what do you think about that?
Well, honestly, you can never guess. You can never be sure. With the rain in this game, it's just very random. So I do think that softs will be the best choice to go, but obviously, it's basic in the rain. It's basically all on luck.
Well, that's true. And turn three, though we know very well how traction, how important traction is on turn three. So it's so tough to get it right, even in the dry. Drivers kind of struggle, or they take it a bit safe and bog down the car, get a short shift a bit, and then try to get the exit. But yeah, that's a pretty tough turn in the dry. So in the wet, it's gonna be a whole level of traction hungry zone. Turn three exit. Do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, in the softs, it's almost like you have to be on the edge. I think on the wet or inter tires, you're already on the edge. So I think it's going to be very difficult if you're trying to make it a good lap. If you're trying to go slow for the first lap, which most people do, then it's fine. But yeah, it's going to be a very tricky corner.
Absolutely. So they'll start off. They'll get to have all the first lap chaos, like first 1 or 2 laps of chaos in the dry in the race, and then they're gonna move on to light rain, I presume. And as we were speaking, Ripe, who was gonna set the first hot lap, seemed to have invalidated it at for between the penultimate corner and the final corner, turn 9 and turn 10. So sad. He has pace. He has pretty good pace. He showed it in both the Tier 2 grids last season and the Tier 2020 grid because he had to demote himself due to personal issues in terms of time constraints, and only the 2020 grid was suitable in terms of timing for him. So, yeah. Nonetheless, you were talking about something, Helium.
Yeah, I believe is in the wet conditions you're gonna have to be very careful with the throttle as well as the braking. The braking distance is increased. The throttle inputs have to be very smooth. You have to be very careful of how much you want to push the car. And since it's a wet to dry to wet transition in the race, you're going to have to be very on the spot. You need to know when it's the transition period because it's if you make it if you make it right, you're going to gain so much time. If you make it wrong, you're going to lose a lot of time. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting race, and it's going to be very interesting quali for sure.
I want to just ask one thing: is the Discord stream still very pixelated?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, it is. It is. We can't read the leaderboard, but we can see the cars doing laps.
Yeah.
That the text is all blurred.
Okay,
Cool. Well, we see some lap times that have already come up. I can give you the lap times because I can see them elsewhere. Ripe has provisional pole at the moment of a 113.569. Logesh and P2 with 113.577. So there's literally a hundredth between the two drivers, and yeah, those two are fighting it out at the top. The rest of them are right now setting in some better lap times. Since it is a wet, you generally put in some fuel, dump some fuel, like 12 laps of fuel at the max, and you just keep putting lap after lap. So Helium, what do you think about that in the wet quali conditions? Are you the kind of driver who does 3 proper hot laps, or do you going into the pits, coming out and doing it on minimal fuel, or do you put on some bunch of fuel and just do a few laps back to back?
Yeah, I prefer putting a lot of fuel and doing consistent laps because honestly, in the wets, you cannot drive like you drive in the dry. So you need to build up to that pace. And also, these tires do not degrade that quickly. They are pretty much the same if you go 3 full hot laps, and also in the wet, you don't lose too much ERS. So I believe in putting a lot of fuel and then doing multiple hot laps in one go. What do you
Absolutely. The same reason. And Propi, your streams become much better. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We can read it perfectly. Well, great work goes into the streams and the combox. We have the likes of Propi who stream really well. Yesterday's T2 race also was being streamed by him. Pretty good camera work. Got almost all the action on track, and we had quite a lot of them. And I'm sure today we'll see more, because even if the drivers are being brilliant with giving us action on track, we can put that extra variable of rain right now. So, well, in the meantime, we see Mountain Wolf going into the pits. He's at a 113.6. It's put him at P5 at the moment. That's a pretty decent lap, considering how the pace is around at the moment. The top driver right now, that is Ripe, has bettered his lap time with a 113.15, almost 4 tenths faster than his previous lap time. And Mighty Owl's another 2 tenths behind with a 113.3. So Helium, what do you think about safety cars here? Are there a lot of safety cars, probability of safety cars on this track, considering we did see, I think, 2 safety cars, or was it 1? Can you confirm about the tier 2 grid, tier 2 race?
2. There were
Yep.
2 safety cars.
Yep, there were 2 safety cars, even with the reduced safety car settings on this game. So, I mean, if the grid is very close in terms of pace, which I think both tier 2 and tier 3 are, then there's a lot of chances of incidents. So what do you think about safety cars around this track, Helium?
I think it's very likely that we'll have at least 1 or 2. Reason being, it's a very short track, so even the lapped cars or the cars are fighting almost the whole track, the whole race for 36 laps. So incidents are going to happen for sure. It's just the magnitude that's variable. Now, I believe since people are very closely paced in this tier and tier 2 last night, that's the reason safety cars will be out, because obviously everyone wants to win. So yeah, this might be a more safety car prone track than others.
Well, absolutely. And the race starts specifically. Oh my god, the race starts into turn 1, into turn 3 after that is so packed, because it's just 2 straights. Even if you have a bad exit in the front, you're gonna just be a few tenths behind the rest of the cars, and or closer to the rest of the cars, and all you can see is nothing but some what do you call, turn 3 specifically. If you're somewhere in the midfield or towards the back of the field, you have to brake almost double the distance behind the braking point because of a traffic jam into turn 3. And it's gonna be interesting to see how the tier 3 boys are gonna take it on. Tier 2 did show us how, for example, Freeman was so unfortunate. Oof, did I just see a fast moving Ripe almost go off track and try to shed some speed? I don't know. It looked quite sketchy, his entry.
As
As we
yeah,
say
goes
that.
for the fastest lap, that's amazing.
That's definitely amazing. I mean, to be really honest, I saw him in the Val races. I saw his pace. He's new to the game. He's literally a couple of weeks at the max into the game, and he's no slow driver. Definitely, he does have his potential, I must say. And yeah, you can see that today he's gone 2 tenths faster than the rest of the field, and it's I'm not sure how much time is left. About 8 minutes is left. 8 minutes or 7.5 minutes are left in the session, and he's gone pole at the moment. Suhaib in P2 with a 113 flat, almost a 113.1, and yeah, he showed us in the 2020 grid last season how consistent he can be. Even if he did not have the pace, he had the consistency to keep it on track and make sure that he's not getting any penalties. And yeah, that helped him a lot in getting this tier 3 seat and the pace that he's probably improved and gotten right now.
Do I see a mountain wolf on socks?
Yeah, that's a little bit of a shocker. I see some soft tires all over the field, and Mountain Wolf's gone pole, and I think that
Okay.
is,
So
yeah.
I think we are seeing a lot of track evolution and track changes. The rain has been a little slow for the last few minutes. So
Well, I'm
we're
still-
gonna yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. They are setting those laps on softs, and Mountain Wolf's gone a second almost faster, a second and a half, I think, a second and 3/10, I presume. So that's probably a sign that yeah, the track is evolving. There is a dry line. I'm just not used to such good graphics on stream. Profi stream seems to be putting me off. I can see a lot of wetness. I could see a lot of droplets, like you saw just now on the camera. So I thought it's still drizzling, but yeah, looks like that's just going. They still have grip and they're doing fast laps. And Geethan Samuel is on a out lap, and he's also a force to reckon with. In the eval races, he did show some beautiful pace. He just got unfortunate in both the eval races he participated in. Incidents that were not caused by him, or it was just incidents due to the game being so beautiful. As we say that, Mountain Wolf goes P1. He was already P1 with a 1:11.5. Now he's gone even faster with a 1:9.3. So the lap times are tumbling a lot faster than we expected. And yeah, this is just a bizarre situation for me, considering what the game is showing on track with the spray and the lap times that they're setting with the soft tires. So we'll have to wait and watch how it goes.
Let's stay on Eric Griffin. He has done 2 purple sectors.
Yeah, take us through the last 2 corners. So crucial.
Such a fast right-hander, then again a right-hander, then you have to be very good on traction to get to the exit on the straight, and he goes 1:8.2, almost 1.1 seconds faster than the guy in P2. Rive goes into P2 now with the 8.6. So yeah, we're gonna see times tumbling very quickly.
Absolutely, all the lap times we see right now are being, anything above P5, Slayer downwards, is all on Inters. But we did catch it a bit on stream, but the driver in P17 currently in a Williams McLean Don't Die had retired on track, must have had a spin in Sector 3, I presume, and that's where I remember seeing it, and he did I probably popped a wheel, and he's out of qualifying. If Vinay sets a lap time, he'll start dead last. McLean Don't Die will start dead last, so that's just unfortunate. Would have not predicted that the rain would stop, because the telemetry also was showing it as rain throughout quali. I'm pretty caught off guard myself.
Yeah, same here. Again, you cannot lead the game all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. The game actually does have a setting when you have lobby settings up, where you put it on approximate instead of, I think, exact, or what do you call it, perfect, in terms of the forecast. The forecast should be a little bit not very easy to predict or something like that. I presume they're putting a variability factor of something that can happen other than what is being told. So probably that's what is being shown on now. That's the weather settings we use in our league, and that's what we're seeing. As we were speaking about the weather, Mountain Wolf had managed to put in the fastest lap time of a 1:07.2. Yeah, that's 2/10 faster than the previous provisional pole lap from Mountain Wolf. Mighty Owl, has gone P1 with a 1:7.2, and the Alfa Romeo boys in P2 and 3 respectively, 2/10 separating them, but that's a pretty strong qualifying, at least provisional qualifying at the moment, with about 3 minutes left, 2.5 minutes left in the session. That's just brilliant. But Mountain Wolves pushed his tires, 4-lap-old tires, so they'll have to be a little wary about where they take this grip and this tire wear off too, because they'll have to use it in the first stint for at least a few laps in the race. Ink, in the meantime, goes P1 with a 1:6.9, and that's almost a 1:7 flat, just 1/100th off a 1:7 flat, and close by is Aces Scope in P2 with a 1:6.996. That's just 6 milliseconds separating these two drivers. That's brilliant laps from both of them. Brilliant, bunch up of the field in terms of pace. Pretty competitive, I must say, and the other drivers aren't very far off. I think they probably just getting on terms with the dry track, switching from a wet to dry track. Talk me through it, Helium. How does it feel when you have to do it in the very same session or in the race itself?
I mean, oh, okay, that was kind of weird for me. But yeah, I think switching from wet to dry in any condition is very weird because you go from no grip to almost full grip instantly. And especially in quali because you're pushing, so you modulate your inputs and you have to basically modulate it again. So yeah, it's a tricky situation, but I believe, yeah, it's going to be very difficult for the drivers.
Well, absolutely. And as you say that, Mountain Wolf, the Alfa Romeo driver who was showing some good pace, is retired on track somewhere or in the pits, I presume. I'm not 100% sure. I think he retired in the pits because his car seems to be in the pits, and Vinay's car seems to be going very slowly, and that too under AI. And he's retired as well. I'm not sure what's happened to Vinay over there, but yeah, he seemed to have had some issues, and he did probably take out a little bit of time out of Uday AGG97, who's currently in P2 with the Haas with a 166 himself, has lost out because of that probably. And I'm not sure. I think the quali session's coming to an end slowly, boys. Yeah, Neon's gone P2 with a 163. He's in P2 right now with 3-lap old softs. Saurav Pat goes P2 with a 162. I genuinely am shocked at Saurav's pace. That's some good pace he's showcased for us. Suhaib goes P2 now with a 158. And I think we missed out on Ink's Hotlap. That's a 156. He's on provisional pole at the moment. His qualifying is done. His AI is driving around now. Who are the other drivers who can be on Hotlaps? Keaton Samuel. He's coming in hot and he's only able to put a 172. And that's exactly the same time as Mighty Owl. And Thermo, currently still on inters for some reason, struggling for traction, obviously. I think he's chosen to stay out on those inters for a reason and probably start from the back. He's not no new driver to F1. He's no new driver to the grid. He has shown pace. I've gone wheel to wheel with him a lot in Tier 2 in Season 5. He's a fast driver. I think he's just getting back on terms with the game. He's coming on after a long time. And he's the only driver to currently finish a hot lap, and we will have to wait for him to finish it quickly because the other cars, which are on AI right now on track, will be driving around and gaining all of that bad tire wear that they do not need in this in the race start, and these are their race sets most probably. Well, that was an exciting qualifying session towards the dying stages, towards the last few minutes. How did that look for you, Helium? Only 2 drivers into the 1.5s, but they were tumbling pretty quickly the lap times.
Yeah, we went from 113s to 1.5 and 1.6s in like the span of 6 minutes. So it was amazing to watch. Seeing on the tire sets, it's going to be very crucial for the guys to save their tires if they want to make a one stop. If they don't, then it's fine. But yeah, doing 4 and 5 laps on the softs pretty much takes half of the life out of them. So it's going to be interesting to see the race strategies that they're doing.
Okay.
Let's find out.
Well, absolutely. The qualifying was pretty interesting. Thermo has just gone into the pits, and I hope our man retires pretty soon because all of those tires are going to be having at least another 2-3% of tire wear for those drivers out on track. And I see about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, half the grid, more than half the grid. We have 18 drivers today, so more than half the grid are on the track, and they're going to be gaining tire wear till we go to the results screen. So let's go, Cody's, and yeah, thank you. That's the amount of tire wear they'll be racking up now. Well, we'll quickly go through the standings for quali. Ink is in P1 for McLaren with a 156, a brilliant lap from him, 2 tenths away from the rest of the field. Suhaib in P2 for Williams. Saurav Pat, brilliant lap time from him, 162 in P3, Neon in P4 for Alfa Romeo with a 163. That's the first two grid rows for us. Slayer P5 with a decent lap time, and we will see the other drivers off during the race start of the formation lap. But yeah, anyone who stood out for you, Helium, in that qualifying session, someone unexpected or someone who showed some brilliant pace, at least in the quali, one lap pace?
I'm gonna say sort of Pat. I am honestly shocked with the lap time he did, considering I'm not sure, but I don't know if he's in the top five runners. Okay, it's very wet in the beginning. Sorry for going away from that line of thought.
That's
Uh,
fine. I'm as shocked as you are right now. Actually, the race is starting in the wet, and I do not know how it's going to progress for the rest of the session because right now all I know is there was supposed to be a little bit of dryness or a little bit of
yeah,
cloudiness in the start, some soft tires, but I think that's why the drivers were not really bothered about their tire wear. Now that I think
yeah.
about it,
Now it makes sense. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
now it makes sense. I mean, Mountain Wolf is not very new to the game. I've interacted with him. He's an Alfa Romeo driver, so we've had a chatting. And he seemed he's done a few races before. I've seen him. He's done a lot of on offline. Unranked lobbies, and it's directly a race start. Oh,
Mm,
well, there's a drive-through for a jump start for Ripe, and we have lights out, and away we go. We have a lot of glitching from the P4 driver, with Neon almost taking out Saurav Pat over there. Ink has gone wide over there, with Suhaib going wheel to wheel with him right now. Ferrari drivers were close by, but then Alpine is fighting for P12 right now with Ritesh, Mighty Owls Alpine. They're going almost four wide into turn 3, and that's a huge traffic jam over there. Neon seems to be moving all over the place, and he's in P3 at the moment. There's a struck Red Bull on track in turn 3 and just starting to move. He's gone back to back to last, Lokesh. I'm not sure if he was able to set in a lap time. I don't remember now. And as we see that Ace's scoop goes wide, goes deep into turn 7, I presume that is, and yeah, that has made him lose a few positions, probably more than a few positions. And if we can go to positions changed at the end of this lap, Propi. Dark Knight in the meantime having a spin of sorts or an incident, and he's dropped all the way back to P18. That was a hectic lap one, not yet over, and up in front, Geethan Samuel and Saurav Pat seems to be fighting with each other. Geethan Samuel trying to get the switch back, but obviously in that turn 10, it's not really very possible. But nonetheless, they are away. Ripe has spit, and so has Logesh. Ripe must have pit for the drive-through. Logesh, I presume, for some damage. We'll have to wait and watch if Dark Knight also does the same, because he was also involved in an incident, but no, he seems to be continuing. In the meantime, there's a battle up ahead of us. Neon is wide. He is wide and going off track totally, and he's giving up positions. Geethan Samuel, Eric Griffin, and Saurav Pat, both the Merc drivers were involved in an incident. And as we say that, Slayer seems to be going wheel to wheel, trying to get opportunistic. Will try to send a move down the inside. Goes a little deep along with the Mercedes driver of Eric Samuel around turn 7, and they're going wheel to wheel almost throughout the sector 3 now. And yeah, Slayer's gotten the move done. He's held it perfectly and taken the racing line, and brilliant. Kudos to Eric Griffin for giving up the position over there instead of sending it in the wet side to side, wheel to wheel in turn 8, I presume that was. Oh, that was some hectic 2 laps for me to talk about. What do you think about the race start, Helium?
Yeah, it was very hectic, man. There are too many positions gained, too many positions lost. I don't know what happened to Neon. I don't know what happened to Ripe in the beginning. I think he got a try through. Dark Knight had a spin. Logesh had some bad qualifying. There's still a spinning McLaren. Slayer
And the
went to
Slayer.
P5 and he went to any other spin. That's very
That is
unfortunate.
that is just unfortunate. And as we say that, I see connected drivers. Tuheb seems to be disconnected, and that's really unfortunate for the man. And we see Ritesh over there in the Ferrari disconnected in P7, some important positions, P2, P7, and drivers with pace as well. I mean, Suhaib definitely was showing us some pace. Now he's going to get overtaken by quite a few drivers till he's able to rejoin. Neon again, he has a 10-second time penalty for cutting a corner somewhere, and I don't know if it's his internet or if he's just. Oh, and as we say that, Logesh has retired in the pits. He has given up on the race absolutely. He's not thinking about
The
racing anymore.
long
He's
game.
retired in the pits. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
P19, P18, and DNF. So that's race over for him. And as we say that, someone seems to be diving into the pits. I think it's Geethan Samuel. I'm not sure. Yeah, he seems to have gone to the pits. He seems to have had some damage somewhere, and yeah, some rubber banding here and there. And we see four drivers up ahead who are fighting for positions. And I must point out that after at least 4 laps of racing right now, Eric Griffin and McLean don't die, the biggest gainers over here with 10 what do you call it, 10 positions each. Eric Griffin currently in P3, and that's a P2 P3 for the Merc boys. Good.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Harry. I think the lobby might be restarted because it was not set up right. So we might be seeing that soon.
All right. Well, they're still giving us a lot of action, so we'll talk about it till we go to the new lobby. There was a lot of action in that first 2-3 laps, and even now it's actually still racking up in action. Thermo seems to have some wheel spin out of turn 7 as we speak. And as we wait for the new lobby, we'll have to see what the weather conditions will be now that we do not have the game setting it for us. It gives us about 3 slots, I presume, to fill in when we're doing a custom weather conditions for a new lobby just for race. And as we say that Aces Scoop is sending it. He is sending
And he goes wide, and yeah, he doesn't get the position.
it. Well. A lot of drivers pitting, a lot of drivers doing all the things
Disconnecting,
possible.
leaving, retiring.
Why, there's a safety car. Oh man, there's a safety car over here now. Yeah, I know the drivers have all gone into
I'll
the
be
pits.
back in a few.
Yeah, the drivers have gone into the pits. There is going to be a new lobby for sure. We will wait for it. Well, if anything is to be said, lap 1, first sector, probably till the end of second sector, it was pretty clean. Not much of issues except for the likes of Logesh who had a spin somewhere. But other than that, it looked like pretty clean till the end of second sector at the most. And after that, there were a few incidents throughout. Throughout the turns 7, 8, 9, and 10. People going wheel to wheel, and the wet conditions not helping. Someone going wide into turn 7. That was a major spot for all of these position changes. They were going wide everywhere and going deep into that corner and losing positions and not being able to brake at the right time. Probably a little bit of cold tires and not having a good racing line to follow in the initial laps. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Okay, so basically, Helium won't be able to join back with us. He has some work now, so he won't be able to join with us. So I will be joining you for commentary from here on. Right now, it seems like the message has been passed on for the lobby restart. However, the coordinators are not are still in the process of making the lobby, that is. So we'll just wait and see once the lobby is up, and we will soon be undergoing the new lobby, that is.
Absolutely. So, Propi, I mean, you obviously had an eye on what's happening, exactly what you were pinpointing. What do you think about that? At least that fake race start. How was it for you?
Yeah, basically, as soon as the raid started, the first thing that caught me off guard was the formation lap, or rather the unavailability of it. So I was quickly on Discord, telling the coordinators to restart it ASAP. So first thing was that, and then after that I kind of missed most of the turn 1 action because I was busy on my phone trying to get the lobby restart and the coordinators in for a lobby restart. But yeah, whatever I saw, that was pretty, couple of people. It was still very clean in my opinion, considering the weather that we were in. which was like completely wet and completely, full wet situation. So considering that, it was still pretty good turn 1 and turn 3. Yeah, definitely a couple of people taking the wider line, but indeed that did help avoid any incidents into turn 1 and turn 3. Talking about quali itself, since I didn't give my opinion, it was absolutely a blast to watch. I was not able to keep up with the times being changed on the screen, so I had to literally keep on seeing who is gonna come across the line, who is the next to cross the line, and I was like every time looking at that, and everyone who was crossing the line was improving on the time. So one thing that we missed to see was basically that in the top 10, apart from two constructors, that was Haas and McLaren, we had everyone in a different constructor. So we had almost all constructor up there in the top 10. So one driver from each constructor was up there. So that just goes to show that basically the division that we have done in this split is pretty accurate. The coordinators have done a very good job in making the grid, in making the tier. We have someone who can mentor a slightly slower driver and help him get off the grasp. Obviously the one person who caught my eye was Thermo. I'm not sure what he was thinking. Maybe someone needs to go and slap him. That's what Kapil said when I did this in my first league race. So I will say the same. He should have just seen the red tires all around him, of all the drivers who were going around him, and he should have probably gotten the message to quickly switch to the soft tires as soon as possible and gotten a lap, because I believe people started getting on the softs when there were 6 or 7 minutes left in the session. That was still a lot of time to go back in and at least put in a couple of laps on those soft tires. But nevertheless, just because of the interesting factor of that quali itself, it made us a really good viewing experience for our viewers, as well as me who was trying to stream, and the commentators, everyone putting in times. No one was, we could have seen a George Russell in P3 situation as well today, because of the conditions, changing conditions especially. So the later you got in your lap, the more higher you were on the grid. But
Absolutely.
but yeah, like talking about the race itself, obviously once the new lobby is being set up, we are gonna try to replicate the weather that the Codys told us in the start of the race. So that's gonna be basically full wet throughout. That's what the drivers saw, and Jeff told them in the beginning of the race. So that's what we are gonna replicate through manually setting the weather. So it's gonna be a wet race. And talking about our telemetry not giving the correct info, yes, as you said, in this game there is this randomization factor that has been put into the game, which I believe is kind of a good thing. It makes it a bit more exciting for our viewers to watch, because whatever they see on the screen might not be true, just like real life. Whatever the radar data that they say might not be true. It might be flooded the next moment, or it might not even rain at all on the track. So that's what something we got to see even today, where our telemetry showed no chance of dryness in the quali, but still we got some almost 30 or 40% dry quali, and then in the rain it was initially dry and then wet, but actually it was completely wet from the beginning. So that kind of makes up for a good user experience.
Absolutely. More like I mean, you'll relate to this more because that game more ACC, the factor which is very clearly mathematically given to you, probability and the way. And I think the F1's trying to give something on the same note, and it's pretty. I mean, like you said, it's pretty exciting. Um, another variability factor other than racing and skill itself on track, the weather conditions and the likes of, giving catching some drivers off guard, because I'm sure after seeing that a telemetry, or at least the weather forecast pre-session, they would have thought of a dry race start, and all right, let's maximum push full send on first 5-6 laps maybe, and then we'll get into the rain conditions and try our best to keep it on track. So, but yeah, like you said, it's pretty interesting, that new feature of approximate weather forecast conditions.
Yeah, it just makes it more exciting for us as viewers to watch it. Obviously, the new lobby has been made up. Right now, the grid is being set according to what it was set. So, based on the quali results, so we will be getting back with that racing, and hopefully, the drivers who did not have a good start will get some good, second chance that they, wanted to because of some thing that went down in the initial laps. So obviously some drivers won't be happy with it, but again, it's completely the fault on our side of not ensuring that there was formation lap. So that's fine. Mistakes happen. We all are humans, and we can obviously start with new lobby and again do the same thing. Obviously, some people might not get the best of these starts, but it's life. We have to deal with it. The drivers were informed by the beginning end of second lap that the lobby will be restarted, so not much harm done, not very long. We waited to put the message out to the drivers, and obviously we will soon be back with the race. But meanwhile, we are waiting for the race. Let's just have a look at our comment section. Why not? Because let's find some entertainment in the comment section while we are waiting for the race.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's one of my favorite sections on the stream, to be honest. You got all kinds of characters over there, the ones who want to have fun, the ones who are getting really, the fan bases. I'm not gonna lie, there are some fan bases for some of the drivers now. They're friends and family members, and probably they're better halves. I don't know. It could be anyone, and all the well wishers. So they get pretty spicy with each other when there is an incident between the drivers or in chat, and that's, I mean, as long as it stays non-toxic, it is fun to watch, and again, it's more entertainment for me.
Yes, indeed. And the last comment that Rishabh has put out, these guys are taking tier 3 to higher standards. Obviously, even I was surprised by seeing the closeness in the time, especially during the wet part of the track when there was no track evolution. If I'm not wrong, the within 1 second in those conditions I saw at least more than half the grid. I think top 12 were within 1 second during that initial phase, and obviously as the grid evolved, people could not keep up, and the people who obviously did their lap during the last moment will get set a better time. But that just goes to show that the grid is so close even in tier 3 this time. I'm excited for this season just because we already know that tier 2 is very close in the grid. We now are seeing that tier 3 is no further back. So in this season, we can probably have at least tier 2 and tier 3, which is very closely packed together with different winners every race, and making this season more and more exciting as it progresses through. Now, all we have to wait and see tier 1, what happens today night at 8 p.m. and what can we see in that race, because even in tier 1, obviously an insider info that I'm gonna give is that we are having full grid today night, so it's like full 20 people in tier 1. So that's something that we have to watch out for, because in tier 2 and tier 3 we have only gotten 18 or 17 drivers in yesterday's race as well as today's race. But today night we are gonna have a full packed grid of the best drivers that we have to offer, the fastest drivers we have to offer, and that can show us some really good exciting battle today night at 8 o'clock, especially the quali times and the strategies. There will be people doing mediums, because medium to soft is the OP strategy there. There will be people doing soft to mediums just to get that track position. So it will be like a full mix of all strategies. Obviously, if rain comes in, all will be dumped down the drain, but I am really excited to see the soft strategy itself, and both me and you will be a part of that race, so we'll see it firsthand.
Absolutely, we'll see it firsthand, and we will be a part of it. And important to mention actually, Propi, that tier 1 is now going to be an ABS off tier. So that's the first, probably the most important assist, which gives a lot of performance, which I have noticed because I have gone ABS off from last season to this season, and my experience on it is it gives a lot of performance having ABS on. And going off, if you're able to master it, yes, you can brake a little bit later, you can carry more speed into corners sometimes, you can rotate the car at times with your brakes and get better turn in, or uh, rotate around the corner, around the apex pretty fast. So yeah, tier 1's now at ABS off league, sorry, ABS off tier, and that'll show all the skill that these drivers have, including us. You're a veteran driver. I'm not going to take that away from you. Uh, I will be someone to watch out for in terms of either it'll be a make or break season for me, whether I'll learn or I'll be a dark horse. I don't know myself, so we'll have to wait and watch.
Well, at the end of the day, the main aim of this community is to take in drivers and slowly improve them as they progress through tiers. And one way to do it is make tier 1 a bit exclusive tier where only the most experienced can enter, and one point is to remove your ABS. So ABS obviously gives a really big advantage in this game, at least 2 or 3 tenths you can easily get out of ABS. But again, if you are driving without ABS and if you can master that, you can get back that 2 or 3 tenths. But as a new person who is turning off ABS, it might be a bit difficult and challenging for that person. But again, that's the point of tier 1. Tier 1 is our exclusive tier, the best of the drivers. You don't see assist being enabled in esports because of the same reason. So we are aiming for that, and we did expect some kind of less attendance in tier 1 this season, considering that we were turning off ABS, which is pretty much a assist that all the drivers use. But we were surprised by the number of drivers who are driving with ABS off in our community already and are quick to be in tier 1. So obviously, as the season progresses, more and more, as the in the next iteration of IRC, that is season 9 or season 10, maybe some other assist will be turned off. At the end, there will be a goal to reach that esports level where all the assists are off in tier 1 at least. So that's what the main aim of our community is: slowly improve as we go across the season. Meanwhile, drivers are readying up, so we will soon be getting into the actions as well.
Thank God. Let's go. We have a packed day today. I have a packed day. Fun. It's one of my.
Okay, sorry for that minor inconvenience. My OBS just decided to die off there, but it is back now, and we'll get back into the race. That is the people have readied up. It was just a minor 10 seconds gap. Harry, let me just turn on the virtual camera. I think it's on.
Yeah, it is. I'm able to see it all. We're
Okay.
going into the session now. Yeah, we're on a timer of sorts. I don't know why we have a timer when loading is complete, but hello, Codys. Knock, knock. Where are you?
Well, no matter how much you knock, they have not responded in the past couple of days. So there is no point, absolutely no point. But as I said, we are gonna have a wet race, full wet, till the end, because this is what the game told us. Again, the variability factor is still turned on, but I don't believe it affects the racing as much. Let me just enable the game audio because I keep it off for when we are chit-chatting. But now that formation lap has been enabled, we can finally have these boys go around in a formation lap and warm up their tires, do their normal stuff that they generally do, and then we will be back into racing.
Absolutely. Can we get the tires and the positions changed? All of those, the telemetry that we run, telemetry as in, yeah, that is so useful for me to watch.
Okay.
And also there were some banners to be hidden. Our big man.
Yes, I will do that as well. Meanwhile, drivers are going out on their formation lap. So let's just hope that no one gets disqualified, because one thing that is bad is starting in the wets, but one thing that is more worse is starting with cold tires. I'm not sure why Dark Knight is so behind the pack. A penalty coming in? What do you say as a steward?
As a steward, I see more drivers at a distance. If you notice, Ethan Samuels so far back from the next driver. Actually, some of them have exchanged positions, in my opinion. I see Ripe ahead by 3 positions on track, but he's supposed to be in P12. If you notice, Ethan Samuels supposed to be ahead of him. Must have been some spins during the formation lap, and once the AI takes control again, you can't really do anything about it. And going back to that point that you were telling, if you have one thing is starting in the wet, the other thing is having
Look
to.
at that puddle on the right on the track, my
I
man.
know. If the puddles were realistic, this man's dead. This
Yeah.
man's gonna have a struggle to start from the grid spot itself. But yeah, like I was saying, if you start on cold tires and on top of that cold brakes into turn one, you're as good as gone. And well, let's quickly see the race start. 5 lights are on, a big droplet confusing me, and lights out, and away we go. There's no delay. Ink seems to have gotten a good start. Neon's gotten a brilliant start, gotten into P3 already. Saurav seems to have had a very bad start, and he's almost been taken out by the Haas of Uday over there. Uday must have lost a major chunk of his front wing, and Slayer finds himself in P4 and is fighting for P3 with Neon as well right now. If the McLarens are up in P1 and P4 and fighting for position as well. Slayer has a brilliant exit over there at the back of the field. The Alfa Romeos and the two Alpha Tauri seem to be fighting each other. Very slow getaways out of turn 3. Everyone being cautious, except for one slight contact over there. I couldn't catch anything else on stream, and that's kudos at the moment. But first lap is still not done, and Slayer's gotten into P3, and we have a spinning Geethan Samuel. He has spun and just rejoined onto track. I am not sure if he has damage. We do not have some telemetry available. Yes, Eric Griffin has lost his front wing. The man who had a brilliant race start in the previous race is right now finding himself in P11 without a front wing, and now is going to put a lot of drivers in dangerous positions, not because of his skill, but because of the fact that that pit entry is so dangerously placed. He might go a little wide, but keeps his speed perfect and just gets into the white line. Thank God for him. He's gotten to the pits, and so has Uday69 because of that rear wing damage. We have a VSC out on track. I mean, a VSC is not on track technically. That is why it's called a virtual safety car. But yeah, 2 laps of racing and we have a VSC already, and the second lap has just started. And I hope people know there are deltas to follow and they do not take out anyone or, overshoot the deltas they have. Neon seems to be very close to Slayer over there, and he's having a little bit of a rubber band effect over there, but he's gotten back in. And the top 4 are very close. In fact, the top 6 are within a second of each other, and Dark Knight has just fallen back. He's just outside that 1 second mark, and yeah, the top 5 at least are very close to each other, and yeah, that's a pretty good race start for them. And Slayer has gotten a brilliant race start again. He seems to be the driver to watch out for race starts, other than the likes of Eric Griffin. And as we see that Suhaib gets a drive-through penalty under VSC. He started off with a negative delta, and now he's lost a position to Slayer as well. He's gone into the pits immediately to serve that drive-through penalty, it looks like, and he's almost taken out Mighty Owl over there. I don't know why Mighty Owl's also going in. I think even he has a drive-through, and both of them are going to go hot into the pits. That was a rap battle for me. Take it away from here for some time, Sophie.
Yeah, so basically Mighty Owl also got a DT because the VSC came off at a very awkward corner for him, and he could not catch up to the decreasing delta that he had, and that caused him to also get a DT. So both of them had to go into the pits to serve their DT, and they are doing it and coming at the back of the field right now. But the race is not over yet. It's a full wet race, and if you're joining in right now, wait and watch. We still have got a lot of laps to go in this race and in these conditions. Obviously, some of these drivers driving on the keyboard or even on controllers might be a bit difficult, but still we can see a lot of action today coming out from this race itself. Right now it seems like Ripe is trying to hunt down Dark Knight. Neon is still having internet issues, might be getting a warning for the same and will be asked to fix and come from the next race onwards. Meanwhile, in terms of positions gained, we see Thermo gaining 9 positions, much better than what he did in the last race where he gained only 7 in the initial laps. We have a yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. I see the car of Suhaib, and that's the car of Ritesh, who lost it on the exit of the final corner. We have a safety car because his car is on the racing line, and that has completely changed the dynamics of this race. Obviously, I don't think anyone is gonna go into the pits except from drivers who have gotten damage. Suhaib also dying out in the third sector beginning on the second left-hander. So two people have already DNF'd from this race because of these treacherous conditions.
Man, I'm kind of feeling a little sorry and sad for him. He was showing brilliant.
Your
Yes,
your voice is cutting in middle sometimes. Are you sitting a bit far away from your mic or something?
is it
Yeah.
fine now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically my mic tells me to calm down. It doesn't let me get excited and cuts off my voice if I get excited. So yeah, what I was telling is Suhaib on the previous in quali he showed brilliant pace. In the previous lobby which we started, he showed brilliant racecraft and was able to keep it in P2. And then he got disconnected, obviously. And today, I mean, now in the new lobby, he had an okay race. He had it in P2 still, but he had an unfortunate drive through. And even worse, he DNF'd on track and can't even get a chance to, redeem himself. And as we speak about that, we see the safety cars sitting idle and probably waiting for the leaders. And it's a 1-2 McLaren. And that brings back something to me. I saw a couple of I actually saw a couple of comments in the YouTube chat. The likes of Aradhya Gupta, who's a tier 1 driver, a new driver who will be joining us tonight, and Nikhil VR very clearly telling it is a McLaren 1-2 that they are predicting, and Aradhya called it first, and they are in a McLaren 1-2 right now. And Slayer has done brilliantly to gain 3 positions. He started P5, gained 3 positions, and is in P2 right now. And he was in the right places at the right time, got brilliant exits out of turn 7 specifically, on to make a move on Neon, and probably Neon's internet not helping him, to be honest. So Neon again keeping it there, and I pray his internet stabilizes, because he has the pace, and his teammate Mountain Wolf also having a decent race start with 3 positions to get from there. Thermo, as you said, what he did in quali was something questionable, but what he's done in the race right now is mighty. He's in P7 right now, gained 9 positions, and he's looking strong in the race, and he can show us that the experience counts after all. Saurav Pat, on the other hand, the dark horse in quali was in P3 or P4 if I'm not wrong, but he's lost out a lot of places, 3 places over there, and he's in P6 right now. Neon again glitching out and going into P4 and going back to P3 over there for someone, I think Dark Knight and him having some position exchanges due to the closeness on track, or due to probably the internet of Neon messing around. Well, brilliant race over the McLean don't die in the meantime, seem to have a good race start as well. And as we see, the Geethan Samuel seems to have spun out on track. Neon also was in P5 for momentarily, and has gone back to P3. I hope everything's fine on track. There seem to have been some issues. Can we have Geethan Samuels on board, please? I have a bad feeling he has front wing damage. I think I know what happened. Geethan Samuel must have spun, and what that has caused is, just when he must have either reset the track or come back onto the racing line in the straight position, like not perpendicular to the track or the racing line, Thermo must have passed him because he was stuck on track. And now what Geethan Samuel has done is, he's given his teammate, I think Thermo is also an Alpha Tauri driver, yes, he's given his teammate an illegal overtake and a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. And that brings us to the end of the safety car period. The safety car is going to go into the pits. I plead with Ink to get a decent gap to the safety car, because the safety car will or else cut out his throttle input if he goes away before the race, before the safety car goes in. And as we say that, Ink has pulled the trigger early, much before the final corner, and that has put Dark Knight at a huge disadvantage, because Dark Knight had to fall back a bit because of Neon's car falling behind him, and he was getting an illegal overtake probably, but I don't know. And as we say that, their Thermo has gone into the pits, must have had front wing damage, and that is an unfortunate jinx for him, and he has lost some positions. And as we say that, Eric Griffin almost sending it into the rear of Uday and just tapping his rear, and Uday just gets the move on Lokesh done on the second DRS straight, which obviously there is no DRS right now because of the conditions. Lokesh going into the inside line, defending hard from Eric Griffin. Eric Griffin sending it around the outside, goes wide, gets the move done just on track, and as we see that Ace's scoop is out of the race. If we can go on board Neon, who's gone to P15 for some reason. He's stuck on track over there, and Neon has left the session as well. I am not sure what's happened to Neon. He's gone from being P3 at the safety car start to P6, P14 right now, P15, and Ace Scoop is retired as well. There's a VSC. That's just unfortunate. I'm not sure what happened to Ace Scoop over there, but
I
yeah.
believe Neon, since he was lagging a lot, maybe he got some kind of message from the coordinators, because or there might have been some incident between him and Ace Scoop. But Ace Scoop retired on the exit of turn 3 on the right hand side. It might just be all on his own, getting on power and not being able to, you know, control his car. But we are back green racing, and we have an exciting battle for the podium position between the 3 cars of Dark Knight, Ripe and Sorrow Pat, who are all going wheel to wheel, almost like just behind diffuser to diffuser. Ferrari of Ripe seems to be looking very feisty. He's trying to go on the inside of the Aston Martin there, the door completely closing on him, and he had to back out from that move.
Well, he still managed to get a brilliant exit out of turn 3. He's thinking about sending into turn 7, and if he goes deep, it's going to be an Albon versus Hamilton-like move, and he has tapped wheels, but there was not much of a major incident. That doesn't matter because he's gotten P3 right now from Dark Knight. Dark Knight seems to be struggling a bit through this lap. I'm not sure what the problem is. And as we see, the Logesh and Mighty Owl were going wheel to wheel into turn 7. Logesh being very respectful, giving all the space around the outside for Mighty Owl to make a move on. He almost cut the curb over there and got a warning, I presume. So, well, Logesh, kudos to your driving, sir. But let's move on with taking a little more space. You have the right to it on track. So that's brilliant from him. He's in P10 right now, and as we go back to that P3 battle, Ripe, Dark Knight and Saurav Pat has a chance to redeem himself over here after that bad race start. He's been handed 2 free positions in my opinion because of Suhaib having a drive-through and then a retirement, and also Neon having to fall back a lot and now at the back of the grid almost. He's right now fighting sitting back safe, if you ask me, from Dark Knight and Ripe, who were battling pretty close through the previous lap, and now there is a gap forming up between these drivers. All of these drivers deploying ERS as generously as possible, because in the wets you don't really have to worry about the ERS percentage much. You can go all bunkers on it and it will regen pretty well through the race, because the amount of brakes you hold and the amount of coasting sometimes you'll have to do through the lap is my understanding of the system, of the ERS system. And as we say that some good drivers who kept it clean and are in respectable positions right now, the likes of Vinay, Uday and Mighty Owl. Vinay and Mighty Owl, well, we found out that they are neighbors IRL, and they're pretty good friends and they like to be teammates, and luckily they were drawn into the same team as well in the Alpine seats, and they must be pretty happy with where they are. Good team atmosphere for sure, but we've seen how bad friendships can go if there is on-track battles and championship battles IRL as well. So I don't know. I'm not calling any kind of jinx on them, but yeah, that's we can always find stories on the grid in IRC as well.
Right now it seems like Uday is on a charge, and there has been a train forming all the way from P3. It seems like the top 2 McLarens have just flown off. Maybe a nerf needed to that team indeed. But yeah, right now it seems like Uday is trying to hunt down Vinay and Mountain Wolf. So we will have to wait and see how this thing goes off, as Codemaster takes the deltas from me, while Vinay also disconnects for a slight bit but does not teleport much. This game is broken, can't help us. So we will have to deal with it.
Absolutely, and specifically, I want to note that I want you to note that the McLaren drivers aren't really. Oh, we have someone spun out in turn 3. I think it is Keaton Samuel, the second. Yeah, that was the AlphaTauri driver. He's pretty much struggling today. I'm not sure for what reason, but yeah, we can have a chat with him post race sometime. But yeah, he's definitely got much more pace. Just an unfortunate day today. I think it was not the best of days for him, and he still has 25 laps to turn this around, and he's already getting a point for being in P15 because of the point system in IRC now. The top 15 drivers get points, and as we speak, Inc seems to have made some mistakes somewhere, because Slayer has gotten from 8 tenths behind to almost 2 tenths behind, and now the gap is building up again because of dirty air through sector 3. I think sector 3 is where it goes to 8 tenths, and in the first two sectors he catches up to Inc and then drops back in sector 3. I hope they're in the same BC and they're having a good chat, because you do not want to have on-track battles unnecessarily between teammates who can right now get maximum points, and Inc is no slow driver. He can get the fastest lap with pretty much like a breeze, and he's not incapable of it. At least he can easily do it. And yeah, in the meantime, P7 heated battle between Vinay and Uday. Uday is also no slow driver. He's a good aggressive driver who gives space, is respectable, but also takes as much space given to him as possible on track. Gets an okayish exit, trying to deploy a lot of ERS, but not able to catch up to Vinay. Vinay's rear lights are blinking, and he's gone wide and deep into turn 3, and Uday just pushing him a little wide. He goes deep himself and gets the move done, but Vinay is coming back for the position. Uday is holding in on the inside line. He's defending hard and aggressive, and he keeps the inside a little open in terms of breaking point, and at the breaking point, Vinay tries to send it on the inside, and Mighty Owl, sending it on the inside of Uday as well, trying to get that position, and both Alpine drivers working as a team and boxing him out of a position. But Mighty Owl again loses out on turn 8, I presume, and goes deep into turn 7 and turn 8.
Well,
and
as people say, probably some L plan getting into place here. The Alpines boxing and he takes the curb and hits him on the side, and that's the contact model. That's gone.
That's just unfortunate between the Alpine of Vinay and the Haas of Uday. And Mighty Owl has also overtaken his teammate Vinay. Now, I don't know if that was an on-track overtake or a team order, but Uday seems to have come out the worst out of the two drivers. Uday was sending it in a corner, probably where overtaking is tough in the dry itself. A lot of respect needs to be given through turn 9 and turn 10 to overtake or go side by side, but yeah, that's just unfortunate. And the contact model, like you said, you tap on the side pod, you're gonna get spun around. And luckily, the driver in front at least doesn't get spun around now. But it used to be a situation where both drivers used to get spun around once upon a time.
Yes, indeed. And on the top two itself, we can see that Ink is losing some pace, and he has already exchanged position with his teammate, that is Laya. And now Ink is falling down like a stone. He has Ripe has reduced the gap from 3.1, 3.2 seconds to now 2.5 seconds. Ink seems to be having some difficulty in putting down power, or he has some damage in his car, but nevertheless he is right now dropping down, and he should be looking into pitting if his tires are not staying with him at this moment.
Can we go on board Ink? I think we might be able to get some telemetry on him. He seems to have a full car under him, and he's losing pace drastically. I'm not sure what's up with Ink. I hope it's not some kind of a controller issue or him just losing confidence on track, because he's almost lost a second and a half to almost 2 seconds to Slayer after the overtake, and Ripe was caught up to him, and again dropping back in sector 3 probably. But yeah, that's a shocker. I think I thought Ink was the driver who would bring the team home across if he stays ahead without damage, but there seems to be some issue. And as we say that, I think Eric Griffin seems to have had an incident out of turn 1. and is probably going very slowly now. Geethan Samuel has overtaken him. Oh, sorry, McLean
McLaren
Don't Die has overtaken him.
Yeah.
Yep. So, well, again, Eric Griffin, previous race, 10 positions, almost up to P3, but now he's struggling in P14 with some issues with traction. I hope he can turn it around. He has more than half a race to, figure it out right now. And his teammate right now in P4 has somehow made a move on Dark Knight. I did not notice that at all. I think we momentarily did show it before we went on board Ink to check for damage. I think Saurav had made the move around the outside into braking in turn 3, and Dark Knight very, very maturely, knowing that he's on the inside line, did brake a little early and then put both drivers in a situation. Pretty clean racing over there. And as we say that Logesh and Vinay going wheel to wheel, Logesh thinking about a move, showing his intentions and going back into the racing line, gets a brilliant rotation of the car over there and keeps it just on track, and brilliant traction as well. Did lose out a little to Vinay though, but he is definitely on the pace, and he's shown us some pace. We were having a chat about him as well through the Val races. We were not able to see much of his pace, but his lap times look good, and the little laps that he had done, and we wanted to see how he does in the tier.
Yes, indeed. Right now it seems like Logesh is gonna get soon incorporated in the L plan of the two Alpines running together. But right now, Eric Griffin, who had lost it a couple of corners back, is trying to mow some lawn in these treacherous wet conditions. Did fall back a lot, did lose a lot of time to McLean Don't Die because of that process. But hopefully he will come back again as he is closing up on McLean Don't Die. Right now there are not many sprays on the helmet. Does this game simulate the direction of spray as well? I think so, maybe. But nevertheless, he seems to be really quick compared to McLean Don't Die. So there might be a battle spicing up here as well.
Well, I have to point out that one of our ex-2020 drivers who looked pretty close to getting the... Wait a second. Do I see an the Logesh to have had a spin, and he's kind of reversing and getting back. Thank God he did not get into the way of any driver. Neon just in time gets ahead of him, and Neon seems to be having a pretty slow but steady climb up back the field. He was in P14 or P15 when we saw him drop back. He's now in P10, just ahead of Logesh again. And as we see that Eric Griffin almost goes into the back of McLean or Dio, they're braking pretty late. Probably confident with the brakes, but again in the dirty air you can't really get that braking right. And now he's going to make the move pretty easily into turn 7, and I hope he doesn't go deep, or else it's going to be a switchback for McLean Don't Die. McLean Don't Die is trying for the switchback, gets an okay exit, but again not good enough because Eric Griffin got superior exit over there. He made the corner perfectly, even though he dived down the inside, and he's looking like the faster driver at least today. He is a man with a lot of raw pace, I must say. We've seen it before. And as we say that, Ripe going for P3, and he's close to Ink now. He's trying to send it around the outside in turn 7, keeps it around the outside, is on the curbs. They're going wheel to wheel over there. Brilliant wheel to wheel racing over there, going into turn 8 and just on the edge over there, and he's just backed out a little, and they had managed to keep it clean all the way till now, and the dirty air is going to kick in now for Ripe, but he still managed to stay close. Ink having ERS issues, I presume. I don't know how much ERS he has currently on board. If we can check it for a second, he has 60%, and he's finished his deployment for this lap as well. So he's probably was on 100% when he started using it. He's only used 40% throughout the lap, and now Ripe is going to be the one who's going to deploy as much ERS possible to get back close to Ink. That was a brilliant wheel-to-wheel racing through Sector 3, wasn't it, Poppy?
Yes, indeed. And it does goes to show that Ink is losing some pace. I'm not sure what has happened, but his teammate has now created a gap of 5.5 seconds from him, and Ink is left to fight with the Ferrari of Ripe. So it will be exciting to see how he defends. He is obviously deploying all the ERS in the efforts to, defend as much as possible. Right now, Ripe should conserve his ERS and wait for Ink to deploy whatever Ink has in his bank, and maybe later on in the lap he can look into getting back to him.
Absolutely, absolutely, and these two drivers are going for it, and letting sort of Pat close up the gap to them as well. But I wanted to mention something in chat as I was telling before. We all remember Dan the Assassin, SSJ Assassin, however he wants to call himself. Season 10, Tier 2020, probable chance of getting that win last season, but we saw what happened, and we don't have to talk about it. It's a tale now, as spoken about in IRC. So he's in chat. Cheering for Ripe, his ex-teammate in Red Bull. He's calling it out that if Ripe goes P2, he's going to buy Ripe a shawarma, and if Ripe goes P1, he's going to buy us also in combox a shawarma each. So I'm right now rooting for Ripe. I can't resist a shawarma for sure.
Now I am hungry. Now I'm definitely ordering a shawarma today night. But yeah, that's some good motivation there to, for Ripe to win. But right now it seems like he's obviously gonna get into attack from sort of Pat as well behind him. So we have to wait and see whether he goes for the attack or whether he goes for the defend. Right now it seems like Ink is also conserving ERS, and Ink has regenerated a lot of the lost ERS that he lost defending there. Meanwhile, back in the field, Uday has caught up to the pack of the Alpines again, and this time hopefully he is able to cross Vinay without much of an hesitation.
Absolutely, and he's been catching up pretty consistently. He has the pace. He's caught up to Vinay pretty fast. Yes, Vinay has dropped back almost 5 seconds from Mighty Owl. So Mighty Owl is the faster driver, but Vinay was the one fighting with Uday before, and they had a moment into the turn 9, I presume. Yeah, turn 9 they had a moment. So Uday should just think about it, set up his move because he's the faster driver, and just easily get the move done, not think about it too much. And as we say that, up in front, Saurav Pat has gotten within 5/10 of Ripe, so it's a three-way battle again for P2 now.
Make that with, 4 because Dark Knight is also coming into the fun. So Ink is basically pushing Ripe into the field, and Ink is forming a train behind him by not letting by, and everyone is catching up to this pack. So we might have an exciting last 16 laps that is left in this race. What do you think? People gonna pit? Not gonna pit?
Well, considering the fact that it's not been a very hectic race up in front, at least like the top 6 or top 7, if I may dare to say, because Vinay and Uday are going to be in a battle soon. They have formed a gap, but the top 6 are in a pretty stable position, and they shouldn't be thinking about getting into the pits now because they'll get into some traffic and they'll have to make a lot of moves. Though they'll have fresher tires, they will have to make a lot of moves, and the gap, the delta between a fresh set of wets and a worn set of wets, like a 21 lap old wets, is pretty big and pretty considerable per lap, and it will help. But again, the fact that you'll have to go through traffic is what won't help the drivers anymore. And as we speak about getting through traffic and going through dirty air, I think Saurav, Pat and Dark Knight both got 3-second time penalties in quick succession in that ending of lap 20 and beginning of lap 21, because they both have 3-second penalties now, and that's not going to help their cause in trying to getting onto the podium. And yeah, we can see that Ripe's also deployed a lot of ERS. He got a brilliant exit out of turn 3, I must say. Taps wheels a little with Ink over there, and Ink is just conserving ERS everywhere. He's not trying very hard. He's keeping the car in the right places on track. He's keeping it perfectly, placing it perfectly in the middle of the track. He's not letting anyone go past him. I think he's defending like a lion right now, and Slayer has gotten an 8-second lead out of all of this. And kudos to the team game that's being played at McLaren. I hope it is a team game. For some reason, Ink seemed to have not had the pace after the first few laps, and since then he's just been playing driver number 2 and helping out his teammate around.
Yes,
now you can see him aggressively weaving as well. Go on, Profi.
Yeah, so one battle that we missed in the background, Uday has finally overtaken the car of Vinay, and something that he was planning to do it a couple of laps before, but he is successful in doing it now. So hopefully, he can even overtake the second guy. As we see Ripe looking out on the outside, but that's not a line, and he almost touches the wall. That was a bit of a big moment there. Some something might have shot off from the rear side for Ripe there, but Saurabh Pat takes the opportunity and overtakes Ripe. Ripe is all out of shape, and even Dark Knight is looking to make an overtake on Ripe. Our shawarmas are going off in a distance.
Not only our shawarmas, even Ripe's, because now he's going sector 3 and he's having to that position because he had no way of making it off the curb over there, and the curbs are treacherous in these conditions. You never know what kind of traction you. And I can understand what Ripe is going through right now because his rear tires are pretty fine. And is he thinking of a pit stop right now? Ripe is going into the pits. He's pulled the trigger, and I think I was just thinking about it right now. His front tires seem to be shot, and not having good front tires and front grip in the rain is a big disadvantage because of the fact that you will have no turn in, and you need the downforce and the tire grip to be able to turn in. And he being on a controller and the kind of inputs he gives, I think that's pretty obvious that he's gonna suffer from front tire grip loss, front tire wear basically. And he has gone into the pits right now. Mighty Owl as well has gone into the pits. As we can see over there, Logesh has gone into the pits. They're all getting onto fresh set of wet tires for the last 13 laps, and it's almost quali on wet tires for them at the moment, if you ask me. And that's very much possible because they'll have a lot of pace, 100% a lot of pace, but I don't know to what extent they can push from here on because of the traffic that they'll have to go through. And Ripe is right now in clean air. He's 5 seconds away from Uday, but well, we'll have to wait and watch if this works for him because he's kept it clean. He has no penalties till now. He just has to keep sending it. And as we say that, I think Logesh has spun out of the pits, and I hope he has no damage. Yes, he has a front wing damage. That's unfortunate for him. He's lost a position to Geethan Samuel now, but if you're not Logesh, we know you have the pace. You just have to get past this weekend. I know you'll have a better race pretty soon. There's 12 laps more for you, and I hope you do well in the rest of the race coming up right now. In the meantime, Saurabh Pat has also pit. Okay, Ripe might have pulled out the trigger, and that if you notice the amount of time he's gained on Saurabh Pat after being behind him when Saurabh Pat went into the pits, Ripe has gained almost. Can you show the leader interval instead of the time interval? Yep, thank you. Ripe has gained almost 2 seconds on. Is it 2 seconds? No, it's more than 2 seconds.
He has gained around 10 seconds on Saurabh Pat. So
pitting early, pitting 1 lap early behind Saurabh Pat. He's gained 10 seconds on him on the out lap itself. Like that shows the difference in grip, I must say. And I think Saurabh Pat didn't have much of a fight as well to take care of because he had about a 1 second gap to ink for a whole lap, and he's doing pretty well at the moment. And if Dark Knight has pit now, so Dark Knight's gonna have some issues as well. Mountain Wolf is staying out, and so are the McLarens of Slayer and Ink. I'm surprised Ink has not thought about doing a pit stop because he's the one in P2, and also he's the one who can actually think about it. And as we say that, there is a spun. Oh, there's a safety car. That is brilliant timing.
I'm not sure why was there a safety car. No one died. He did spin out. That was Thermo, I believe. No, not Thermo. Geethan Samuel who spun out on the exit of turn 3. But this has just basically given off the win to the McLaren boys because now they can easily pit with a free pit stop.
I have to point out that's just unfortunate. Our man got a drive over there for under the double yellow flags and he had a P3 in the bags for him, and that's just gone out of the window now for him. And the McLaren boys can double stack easily. The game, I must appreciate this for a few game versions of the game now, 2019, 2020, and initial parts of 2021. It was looking really bad to try and double stack, but now there's absolutely no lag between driver 1 and driver 2 if they have the right amount of gap. So if the pit box is free, which right now it is, Slayer has gone out of the pit box and moving out. If you see, Ink will have absolutely no delay, immediate pit stop and out. It's a perfect double stack. Everyone gets equal amount of pit time. You just don't have to. You shouldn't be waiting behind your teammate when he is in the pit box. That's it. So that's a brilliant thing that Cody's have fixed. Something of a positive from the game, and we can be happy about that, I guess.
Yeah, right now it seems like everyone is pitting. All the strategies, all the people who pitted onto the wet tires 1 lap before have gone out of the window. Ripe has come out 4 seconds behind Ink and Slaya. His chance of undercutting them or even overtaking them under the worn tires has gone off the window. One person who has not decided to pit is Neon. Not sure what is going on through his mind, because with all the fresh rubber that is behind him, he is not gonna be in the right place of mind or the right place of tire for completing the last 10 laps that is left in this race.
Man, that's actually very bad. At the start of the race, I mean the safety car restart, the biggest disadvantage, the driver, the biggest disadvantage is going to be Neon, and he's in P4. So he can either be really slow on exits and cause problems for his teammate or for the drivers behind, because I mean, you know, technically it is the responsibility of the driver behind to be careful of the driver in front in terms of braking, in terms of exits. So if that is the case, but he's still gonna be a big roadblock literally for the drivers behind him, and he's decided not to pit as well. He's gonna stay out, and the safety car will be out for at least another lap, I presume. And as we say that, Slaya's pit.
Again?
Slaya's pit again. Oh my god. He spit again for no absolute reason. I think he had front wing damage with the safety car. Probably there is no other way he could have had front wing damage, and that has put him all the way in P10 now. I am in shock, and he's going to lose another position now because of Thermo overtaking him, and that puts Thermo in P10. I am in utter shock. Oh my god.
But don't you, if you hit the safety car, you get disqualified or something?
Then probably he must have hit some on the exit. He must have hit some other curb. I don't know, some wall. Oh my! I am in utter dismay of what has happened to this man over here. From P1 on the grid, he's had some front wing damage and gone all the way 10 positions down to P11. I'm just in pain for this man right now. And oh, and as we see that, sort of Pat in P9 has lost a position as well. He is now in P9. He went deep into turn 7 over there, and yeah, Vinay and Saurabh Pat again exchanging positions for some reason. I'm not sure why, and I just pray and hope that they're not gonna cause a glitch in the safety car. And as we say that, there is no message about the safety car restarting yet, going in this lap yet. So there's gonna be one more lap of safety car, and that is an indicator that there'll be only 8 laps of racing at the most.
I believe it's mostly because of McLean don't die. He is still trying to catch up to the pack. So one more lap of safety car we are gonna have.
I don't know if you can do this, Profi. Can we go on to race director for a second and see what happened to Slayer over there? I mean, it will show us. It's obviously a front wing damage, I'm sure. He's in P11 right now, so that's the driver we'll want to look at. But that's so unfortunate. I'm still not able to digest the fact that happened to him. But yeah, we'll have a chat about it later. Collision with safety car.
Okay. So he did hit the safety car.
Oh my god. I mean, I've heard in IRL, I've heard drivers like Hamilton and Sebastian sometimes telling the safety car is going too slow. Can you tell this man to speed up, please? All that kind of nonsense. But this man's trying to push him fast. He's trying to tell him move fast. Can you please drive faster? And has rear ended the safety car. Oh my god. And he has a warning. And as we say that the safety car is going in this lap, I think McLean don't die will just catch up to the field, like literally just catch up to the field at the finish
he will
line.
have the best tires.
Yeah, he'll have the best temperatures, absolutely.
Yes. This is something similar I had in my Singapore comeback drive. So maybe we can see a comeback drive from McLean don't die.
Oh, well, it can be anything at this point. It's still wet weather conditions. And yeah, someone was talking about, I just wanted to explain something about the safety car and lap cars, but we'll talk about that after the restart. Let's see how Ink takes the restart now. He's the one leading. It was looking like a McLaren 1-2, but I think we jinxed it heavily. I jinxed it heavily. And Ink has gone away. And Ripe has not fallen too far behind, and he has kept almost close enough to, within a half a second to Ink, and I see some wheel-to-wheel action over there, possibly between Mighty Owl and Uday. Uday gets the move done into turn 1, and Mountain Wolf is spun around. He's just spun around. Luckily, he's reversing onto the racetrack, but just escapes and spins around. And as we say that Eric Griffin has retired on track, the same position, and his car is moving surprisingly. I don't know why he's retired on
No,
track.
that's not his car.
That's oh sorry, I am really sorry. That's Mighty Wolf's car. In the meantime, turn 7 showing us how treacherous it is. Ink over there defending pretty aggressively. I don't know what happened there. I don't want to call any terms.
Sharma is still on the line here. Ripe was trying to dive on the inside of Ink there, but did not get the room or did not get the power down to make that move stick. Right now he is again on a chase, but he is right now trying to defend and lagging behind Neon, or maybe Neon lagging front. I'm not sure what is happening here, but he is definitely losing some time there to Ink.
Well. I'm really rooting for at the moment, but I want a shawarma very badly. So there is a situation right now that a shawarma can possibly come even to the commentators in the com box today. And Dan, I'm gonna hold you responsible for this when I meet you soon IRL. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna root for Ink right now. Sorry, for Ripe right now to give a good battle, and then get P1. And we have 6 laps of racing left, and he is right now closing in the gap again to Ink. He's definitely looking like the faster driver at the moment between Ink and Ripe. And as we say that, some wheel-to-wheel action into turn 3 and the exit of turn 3 over there. 3 drivers almost going wheel-to-wheel. Thermo, Vinay and the McLaren of Slea. Slea will be very furious and a very determined driver right now. We will see how good he is with the moves. He's sending it down the inside, and that was just unnecessary. Too determined, I must say. And he's on the racing line, wheel spinning. He's going to be putting some drivers off the racing line. Mighty Owl overtakes him. He's gone back to P11 now. He was sending it at a place that it was unnecessary, I must say, but that's just unfortunate. Let's just move on from that situation. And there is a blue flag situation here. I'm not sure who's the one who's getting blue flagged, but as we speak, Mountain Wolf's gone into the pits. Oh my god, that's just bad for Mountain Wolf. He was the one with the fresh tires, and now I think he's got some front wing damage and he is into the pits. That's just unfortunate for him. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being so ignorant. I had totally forgotten he's not yet served his drive-through. So he just tried to create a gap, I presume, and he's lost out a lot now. So he's now in P11. Still points, but yeah, let's see. He has 5 laps to try and get something out of it. And as we say, the McLaren don't die, gonna send it down the inside into turn 3. Wheel to wheel, sends him wide as well, but that is nothing wrong in that. No damage, nothing. Mountain Wolf gets the position back as well. I think that's a slight bit of karma out there acting out. I predict, but not really sure. And Mountain Wolf's gone way ahead of McLaren don't die over there. In the meantime, Slayer in P10 now because of the situation of Mountain Wolf getting a drive through and having to serve it. He's close to Mighty Owl, and he has no penalties, I must say, and the drivers ahead of him all have penalties. Both Vinay and Mighty Owl have 6-second penalties each, teammates working together. Now it's gone to 9 and 6 in fact, and I see Slayer getting at least P7 if he finishes where he is right now. Or is it true? No, he needs to gain another second out of somewhere. Yeah, he needs to gain another second out of somewhere to be able to get a P7. Saurabh back, P6, he's not very far off from Uday. Uday is close to the drivers in front as well. This is a fight again for P3. Neon is holding up the field with those 27 lap old or 30 lap old tires. Yeah, 31 lap old wets. He's doing a brilliant job right now, but he's gone wide over
jinxed
there,
him.
and he's going to be going wheel to wheel in sector 3. I'm jinxing everyone at this point. I should shut up actually.
You literally jinxed him. So there some brilliant space being given. Oh, and as he becomes a bit squirmy there, somehow manages to keep his car. No more. His car is gone into the gravel. That's what happens when your tires are short, and it is definitely short. So Neon falls down all the way to P9 and spins a bit more for good measure. And
I'm just in awe at my jinxing powers right now. I should not commentate. I mean, oh my god, my Mountain Wolf has also left this session. I'm just gonna call Mountain Wolf as Wolf and Mighty Owl as Owl because and there's a VSC.
yes.
There's a VSC. So Neon, come on. I mean, I can't really tell. Come on now, 31 laps. I don't think it is useful to drive into the pits now. But well, you have a chance now to gain a few positions maybe, but with those tires I highly doubt if you'll be able to. The rain seems to have stopped, correct me if I'm wrong, but the rain...
It is there, it has lessened, but it is still there.
It's a VSC. I must say, Neon should have actually thought about getting into the pits for inters and then... Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
spray.
They were driving too slowly.
Yeah. I
Well,
believe
the
they were
spray is
driving
back.
too slow. Now the interesting thing is if the safety car, the VSC, if it is going out here, which it is, it's very tricky to not get a DT for these three guys. But they managed to not get a DT here, and they are still at it. It's the fight for the podium position. As it stands, Uday might get the podium based on not having any penalty, but anything can change as Ripe gets a 3-second penalty in these last couple of laps that is left for this race.
Man, that is just sad. Right, man, we wanted a shawarma, man. What is this? Well, even if he makes the move now, he has to gain a 3-second advantage on Ink, which I think he can if he has clean air, to be honest. He seems to have the pace. He's just not able to get past Ink, not able to place the car in the right places and counteract the moves from Ink to defend. Slea, in the meantime, the other McLaren driver who very beautifully hit the safety car, I'm not going to be able to digest that fact, is right now fighting for P8 with Mighty Owl. And he's definitely looking like the faster driver around today. Not the fastest, because we saw some pace from some other drivers as well. Eric Griffin, for example, showed brilliant pace, but was just unfortunate, spinning out in the wrong places and probably pushing too much. Slea, in the meantime, knowing where to use... Okay, right now he doesn't seem to be knowing where to use his ERS, and that could probably give him a spin. I suggest, young man, you switch off your ERS, or this is just one of those glitches where it shows the spectator like he's using it, but yeah, he's just turned it off, so probably what we thought about.
Yes, meanwhile, Ripe is closing up. McLean Don't Die is just overtaking Neon's ghosted car. I believe Neon
Mountain
has...
Wolf.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Mountain
Wolf's ghosted car. Did Mountain Wolf give up?
No, he had a disconnection. Just joined back the session. He'd take control of the car probably on the straight. Thank God he thought about it and being thoughtful about it. Now is the right time to take control, and let's hope he gets control of his car. Yep, there you go. So that should help. Neon and Mountain Wolf again close to each other. The Alpha Boys showing how much of a team they are. In the meantime, up in front, Ripe trying his best still to get that shawarma for himself. Not only for himself but for us, because right now he's already gotten the shawarma lock kiya jaye and has been locked into his seat. But Ink brilliant defending till now in the race, and he's placed his cars in the middle of the track, braking at the right places, slowing a little maybe on exits. I'm not sure if it is because of the lack of confidence and grip, or it's just him playing the tactical game. But now he really doesn't have to bother, because he has both the drivers behind him in P2 and P3, Ripe and Dark Knight, have 3-second penalties each, and Uday sitting pretty in P4. If he's able to be close to these drivers, he will get P2, and he is looking like he's going to get P2 at this point, because he is within, it's about 3.4 seconds to Ripe, so he'll get a P3 for sure. But if he drives a little faster, he can, like a 3/10 gap. Yeah, if he drives a little faster, gets a little bit of positions, or does a good lap right now, which is the final lap of the race. Let's not forget, he can think about getting a P2. In the meantime, Ripe is closing to almost half a second to Ink right now. Into turn 7, he's sending it almost into the back of Ink, but yeah, he stays a safe place away. He's deploying all of his ERS. There's just one sector to bother about right now, and yeah, some driver's gonna do a final push. Thermo right now trying to send it in sector 3. Sector 3, if you're behind a driver very close like this, you will probably get a lot of dirty air, but Thermo showing that he has the grip for it. He's trying to think about sending it on the inside, sends Vinay in a very odd position, a shallow line out of turn. Oh, there's some wheel bang over there, and he gets past Vinay over there beautifully. Vinay seems to have had some kind of a moment where he's either lost traction. Well, let's not forget that we have to go on board. Oh, Ink gets P1 on track. Ripe got P2 on track and Dark Knight P3 on track, but Uday has managed to get those 3 10s and has gone ahead of Ripe and gotten P2. A brilliant race from him. In the meantime, as we go down the grid, McLean don't die in P9 after he was trying to, having a lot of spins. He's gone up to P8 because of penalties. And I think the biggest disadvantage carried over there was Mighty Owl, who had about 9 seconds of penalties, and that has pushed him back to P11 now. Slayer coming in home in P12. I think he had an incident again somewhere, and he just had an unfortunate race. Probably his own mistakes in 2 spots that we noticed, hitting the safety car, which I think he'll get used to now not doing it, and diving down the inside. Slayer on brakes definitely did not do the best over there, but I'm sure he has the pace. He just has to figure out his braking and get his racecraft straight.
As some might say, he was not on the brakes when he was following the safety car.
Absolutely. But nonetheless, the battle up in front for the win was a brilliant battle towards the ending stages. Still, Slayer was there. It was a battle for P2, but at the end, it was just what do you say? It was just a unfortunate moment for Slayer. And after that, it was just a battle for the win between Ink and Ripe, and they did brilliantly to fight it out on track. And yeah, nonetheless, a beautiful race we witnessed today, isn't it, Propi?
Yes, indeed. Definitely Ink, we thought he was a bit washed in the middle part of the race, but then he definitely came back in this all wet race. Now I'm just excited to wait and see what Tier 1 has got to show us. Let's see what happens there, but for now this was a brilliant race. We'll wait for them to join in our VC and we'll have a small chat with our top 3 finishers. Meanwhile, let's just go through all the incidents and their race director, just in case they want it from the stream for some reason whatsoever.
Yeah, it was a brilliant race. Uday over there showed us that keeping it clean matters a lot in races when the grids are so close. And the safety car in the end and the V at the end did help a lot as well. He got up just within 3 seconds of Ripe, and that gave him P2, and we were looking in for that. In the meantime, Dan seems to be pretty happy because both the P2 and P3 drivers are his ex-teammates. Uday and Ripe were his ex-teammates in 2020 in the Red Bull seats, and wow, he's having a pretty happy, nostalgic day. I think seeing his teammates former teammates do pretty well in the inaugural race of Tier 3. And I think we have our top 3 over here. Yeah, we do have them. So shall I go on to it, Dipanshu?
Yes, please go ahead.
Well. A brilliant race from you, Ink. You did absolutely perfectly to defend. Though you were not the fastest driver today, your defense was on point and your car positioning was on point into the crucial braking and traction zones, and that helped you keep P1. Talk us through your race. What happened after the first few laps? You lost a lot of pace.
Yeah, first of all, thank you. And I did not have pace today actually, because my one reason is my controller, I guess. It's been really worn out, so I was very cautious into the corners and everything, especially with the traction. So first, me and Slayer were 1-2, so I thought like it'll be a perfect result for us as a team, McLaren. So then what happened? I let him go Slaya because he was much more quicker than me. Like he was coming in on second, then going out. So we swapped positions around midway, I guess. Then it was a fun battle with Ripe. Uh, that safety car restart, I couldn't do anything. I pressed the brake full force and tried to turn, but I still couldn't. I ran like midway to the corner and pushed him a bit wide. I guess that's a bit too aggressive. Other than that, then the safety car restarts and VSC restarts were really okay, good for me. Like I kept around 1 second gap, and I was really well, what do you call, race engineered by my old teammates, Aston Martin teammates. So that helped. That also helped. So good race win.
Well, brilliant race for you over there, and yeah, you explained to us what happened over there. So, nonetheless, even with the pace disadvantage, I think you turned out to be the better mate over there. You helped Leia build almost an 8 second gap, though he gave it on a silver platter to the rest of the field with
Yeah,
the
I wanted him to
incidents he
win.
has. Yeah, we all wanted him to. We were rooting for him. We was impressed with his race
Yeah, yeah,
till
he's
the
good.
point where he hit the safety car and lost a bit of his front wing. So
Yeah,
other than that, I think it was a brilliant race for you and for your teammate.
thanks,
In the
thanks.
meantime, let's go on to P2, Uday, who got the position due to some penalties but kept it clean, which was a huge advantage to have considering the closeness of the field. Uday, talk us through, through your race. How was that after the incident in lap 1, turn 1?
Hey, yeah, thanks all. Yeah, so it was a pretty eventful race for me, and yeah, I got a wing damage, like a severe wing damage in the turn one lap one itself, which was, I guess you guys saw that, and yeah, that I thought sort of screwed up my race, but yeah, I think I recovered from that pretty well, and yeah, like I had some close battles with Vinay and like a couple other people. I was like mainly skeptical because there were a lot of lagging issues going all around, but yeah, like I had to keep it clean. I had to like be very patient, like in all the moves, because it like I couldn't really depend on anyone to like not make a sudden move, right? So yeah, yeah, so a pretty eventful race. And yeah, I think the last safety car, I think that definitely helped me because I was thinking on pitting, and yeah, that really helped my cause. And yeah, definitely. And I think, and I was definitely debating whether I should even pit or not, or whether I should, keep the track position and just sort of go on from that. But I think we all saw how Neon suffered, right, with those old tires. Like he did not had any grip. And yeah, I was able to make a move on Neon along with Dark Knight. And yeah, just keeping it clean and just keeping it within 3 seconds of Ripe and Dark Knight. Yeah, just like turned out good for me. So yeah, pretty eventful, and yeah, just enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, thank you.
Brilliant race from there. You heard that even damage fight back to the top of the grid and almost get a P3, but yeah, you managed to get the P2 as well. So that's brilliant racing from you. And let's move on to P3, Ripe, the man who was fighting for the win today and probably will be scolded by me later for not getting a shawarmas because of not getting P1. But nonetheless, brilliant race from you, Ripe. How was the race for you? Talk us through it.
Yeah, the race was good. Props to him. He had good defense. Also, like in the first race before the lobby restart, I got a drive through. Because I left the clutch because I thought it was a formation lap. So I was lucky for a lobby restart. And also, like Ink was rapid on the straights, but he didn't have enough traction out of the corners. That's how I was catching up to him. And also, thanks to Dwajin and Sunny, they were helping me with strategy. Yeah, and that's it. And I was unfortunate for that penalty I got.
Absolutely. You would have gotten a P2 at best because you were not able to get past throughout the race, but it was still an important P considering you will be in a very close-knit field right now in terms of pace. So, nonetheless, a brilliant race from you and all three of you all and all the drivers as well on track who finished today. And it was a brilliant season opener and it kept me on the edge of my seat for sure. I'm sure it was the same for Propi as well and all you viewers as well over there. So, anything you have, Propi, to ask?
No, nothing else to add.
Well, then take us to the end of the stream.
Yes, so thank you for watching, everyone. We definitely enjoyed what we saw today. If you are a motorsport enthusiast and if you want to join a community which only deals in motorsports and has leagues as well as communities on different kinds of motorsports, do consider joining us. The links to joining this community are down in the description below. We run on a Discord server currently, and the links to our website to find the community as well are down in the description below. But that's it from me and Harry for now for our Tier 3 coverage of Season 8 IRC. But come back again today night at 8 p.m. when we are going to see the best that we have to offer race on this same track. Don't know what conditions, but on the same track, and hopefully we get to see some really pacey and exciting battle as well today night. But that's it from me and Harry signing off. Thank you everyone for watching and have a good day. Bye bye and take care.